I dream of creation. The world around me builds itself like a puzzle. Pieces of the ground and the trees and the sky and the clouds all tumble into one another, looking for their places to fit in. The areas that haven't formed yet are empty and white. The world comes together, and I fall in as just another piece. I'm in a jungle, complete with lush, green vines and a pale mist hanging in the air. I can feel the humidity on my skin, the smell of moss. But this is impossible. None of this is real. It can't be. There's a slight blurriness in my peripheral vision that never subsides, like I've just woken up. I rub my eyes, but the haze remains. There are no buzzing insects or chirping birds, which I find strange for a jungle. As the thought crosses my mind, the world erupts with sound. Why had they been so silent a moment ago? Even with my hazy vision, there's a surprising vibrancy to every bit of plant life, to a level of hyper-realism. High definition doesn't do it justice. I turn and turn, trying to soak it all in, and realize how light I feel, almost as if my feet aren't even touching the ground. I sway my head back and forth to bathe in the feeling of a weightless world. The pain in my leg is gone, too, along with the cut. It's like my whole body's been reset. A thunderous impact rocks the jungle floor. Branches shake as the ground trembles from more impacts, each one drawing closer. They sound like monstrous footsteps, and whatever's making them is close, too close for me to try to run. Trees groan to make way for the monster, and I brace for its entrance. A large, multicolored beak protrudes from the top of the tree line. A yellow talon with razor-sharp claws slams into the ground, rocking me to my core. The monster comes into full view, revealing a gigantic toucan with a pair of binoculars hanging around its neck. The toucan cocks its head to the side and examines me with great interest. "Jolly good morning," it squawks. "Didn't imagine I'd find a human all the way out here. Seen any gorillas around? They look like you, but a bit hairier." My jaw drops and my eyes nearly fall out of my head. It all comes back to me. The castle, the machines, where I am, why I'm here. I've got to find the others. I start running as fast as I can through the jungle, battling against flora and trying not to collide with any trees. The toucan calls after me. "Come back if you find any gorillas." There's no telling how deep into this jungle I am, or where an exit may be, but I just keep running. It's not long before I realize that I'm passing by the same trees, the same vines, and the same flowers over and over again. Not in the figurative sense of them being similar, they were exactly the same ones. I'm stuck in a loop. I stop running, and then, with the loud sounds of creaking, crackling, and crunching, the whole jungle shifts, so that the ground beneath my feet is now the exact place I woke up. The toucan is still there, too. "Fancy meeting you here again," he squawks. "Any luck finding those gorillas?" Trees the size of houses slide across the earth to rearrange themselves. I close my eyes and pinch myself like I would to wake up from any other dream. But when my eyes open, the toucan is still there. "This isn't happening," I whisper. "This isn't real. I'm not crazy," I tell myself. It's the world that stopped making sense. "Caden! Cora!" I yell at the top of my lungs. The trees around me bend and snap from the sound waves of my screams. "Anybody?" "Quiet down, lad," the toucan squawks. "You'll scare them all off." I ignore the bird and its weird, inconsistent accent and try collecting my thoughts before they spill out of my head. No telling what that would do to the world now. My mind goes blank, clear of all the nonsense I'd seen or caused, I can't be sure anymore, and think of only one thing: getting out of here. I focus on the image of being free from this jungle with everything I have. The only thought in my mind is being unglued from this patch of land, transported beyond the outskirts of the trees. Slowly, I open my eyes, and my thoughts become reality. I'm outside the jungle, no toucan in sight. The jungle that had played as my prison moments before starts to shift again. The trees turn to bars of a jail cell, their colors turning from a lush green to a pale, dead black and white. Branches extend from trunks like malnourished arms, beckoning me back into their grasp. I have to wake up soon. This is all too much for me to handle. The world reacts to every little thing that goes on through my head with frightening accuracy. I decide that if I'm to survive this place, I have to keep my imagination under control, or else it will be my own undoing. I put that messed up jungle behind me and set off to try to find the rest of my friends. Maybe they'll have some answers. The jungle is far from the only thing doing its best impression of an acid trip. The sky is home to clouds of all shapes and forms. When people back home say that they saw stuff in the clouds, they had no idea what they're talking about. Gods and monsters battle through the atmosphere, fully detailed and highly lifelike. Space shuttles launch and fumes pour out from beneath. Entire cities form and disintegrate in a matter of seconds. There's no real distinction between day and night. Stars constantly soar back and forth over my head, while the sky fades in and out between shades of blue, purple, and red. Instead of a sun, a gigantic clock rules the sky. It strikes an uncanny resemblance to the engraving on the castle door. I walk through an open field in the shadow of a mountain range. Grass extends all the way up to my thighs, swaying to and fro with the morning breeze. The mountains ahead reach to the sky, their peaks capped with snow. They glitter a sparkling shade of blue, like a painting brought to life. At the top of one of the mountains, I spot movement. A tiny speck descends from the peak at an alarmingly fast pace. A loud rumbling, accompanied by a huge sheet of snow, chases the speck down. Then, I hear the sound of screaming. It's not a scared scream, but one of joy. It also sounds extremely familiar. Even in a world where nothing makes a lick of sense, it's nice to know that there are constants between dream and reality. Caden's foolishness is one of those constants. In the first hour of our adventure, he's already triggered an avalanche. He hasn't just caused the avalanche, though. He's riding the damn thing. Caden stands atop a tidal wave of snow, with his arms high in the air, blowing out his lungs with the loudest, happiest yell I've ever heard. This is the time of his life. If I get any closer to the bottom of the mountain, the avalanche will surely swallow me whole. I want to be close enough to save Caden when this ride of his crashes down on him. I don't need for us both to be saved. To my continued surprise and amazement, the snow slows down and levels off until it's nothing but a carpet beneath his feet. Something about Caden looks different. It's definitely him, but made anew, like he got to pick and choose the parts he liked and didn't like. The carpet of snow slows to a crawl, and Caden stops just inches away from me. I don't flinch or try to run away, probably because I've forgotten how to move. This new Caden is mesmerizing. "Well, Kale?" he says breathlessly. "I think I'm home."